What if you could win at anything you tried?
That is crazy.
Got milk? Oh! We're heading to Texas, where we take aim at a tossing game straight off the farm.
We got a winner over here.
Next, we're in Las Vegas, where I push Shuffleboard to the limits, revealing the secret strategies to win big. I like that. I like that a lot. Then I take to the streets of San Francisco with $100 up for grabs.
God.
But there's one big catch. No pressure at all. And it's off to Florida for Horseshoes, where a legend shares his Hall of Fame technique to nail ringer after ringer. My name is Sal Piacente, and I know every con in the book. People hire me to show them how to spot a hustle. From coast to coast, I'll break down and reveal how to win at games, contests, and tricks. From the boardwalk to the carnival, I've got all the angles. Game on, America. We begin in the Lone Star State, where one small town is throwing a big old party in honor of their state flower. I'm in Burnet, Texas, home of the Blue Bonnet Festival. Some carnival games are easy to win once you know the secrets, but others make it deceptively hard to walk away with a prize.
Come on in, guys. It's only $1 a ball over here. Come on in here.
And one of the hardest games at any midway is the milk can toss.
Oh, in and out.
For $5, you get a bucket of 13 to 15 balls.
Okay.
The object? Get a softball into the milk can.
What are you guys gonna win?
Oh, the penguin.
Uh-oh.
The penguin? All right.
This game is a lot like another Midway classic, basket toss. You only need to get one ball in to win. But the huge difference is the tiny hole. Trust me, this game is designed to make you fail.
All right, there's your first 2 balls. There you go.
Gotta win in the penguin. All right.
Oh! Try it again, try it again.
No good at that.
You got it. Oh, that was close.
This close and almost doesn't get you a prize. So I'm gonna show these two and you the secrets to sink that ball and walk away a winner. Excuse me, sir, can I see one of those balls?
Sure.
Thank you. See this softball? One of the biggest obstacles here is the size of this ball compared to that hole. They use a special milk can that has a piece of steel welded to the top, making the hole smaller. On average, the holes in these cans only give the ball an 1/8 of an inch gap around. There's no room for error. If you're not precise, you're not getting it.
Okay.
So how do we do that?
Okay? Bring out your inner produce shopper. You know when you go to the store, you gotta squeeze the fruit? Check out the balls. You wanna squeeze them. You know what you're looking for? A hard ball. A hard ball is a smaller ball. Smaller ball, more gap. So what's my tip for finding the smallest balls? Go for the new ones. As a general rule, the newer the ball, the harder and smaller it is. Most people just take whichever balls they're given. But if you ask the operator, they gotta give you your pick. Now that you have the right ball, you gotta spin it to win it. The next thing we're gonna talk about is the throwing technique. Buddy, you are not throwing the right way.
What was wrong
Okay?
with the way I was throwing?
Well, there's a couple of things. When you throw in this game, you gotta remember my over-under technique. You wanna grip the ball holding it with your fingers over the top, like this. The key is to lean in as close as you can and toss the ball underhand with backspin. It's the same exact grip and throwing technique used in basket toss. Let's get a couple more throws in.
Oh.
Now we're talking.
Get closer. Oh, that was almost a swish.
And that's what you don't want. A swish in this game is more impossible than you think. It all goes back to the size of that opening in the top of the can and a little math. In this game, you'll be standing about 10 feet from the can. In order to achieve an angle steep enough for the ball to drop straight down into the hole, you'd have to throw that ball about 15 feet in the air. That's 3 feet higher than the ceiling of the booth. So even if you had perfect aim, it's not gonna happen. I've got a better way. You wanna throw it with a nice, soft touch and a low arc. But you need to know exactly where to aim, and it's the back lip of the milk can. You want the ball to hit the back lip, and with the backspin from my over-under technique, it will go in the hole. And get closer. Lean in as close as you can get, as much as they'll let you.
Okay.
Definitely makes sense.
Now that the tips are all out there, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. You still want that penguin?
Yes.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna buy, you're gonna throw, get it a penguin.
All right.
Yep, remember, you don't want these strings, you want just these three. That's all you need. Perfect.
Get as close as the light.
Low arc. Give it a penguin. We did it.
We got a winner over here, guys. One dead penguin.
That's the way it is.
Winner.
What we
Good
do.
job, guys.
This is so awesome.
Next stop is the mecca of entertainment, Las Vegas, Nevada. Vegas is the gaming capital of the world. If you want to play, you come to Vegas. Vegas is my kind of town, known for its famous strip and games like poker, roulette, blackjack, and shuffleboard. That's right, shuffleboard. This game is not just for Florida anymore. We're here at the Gold Spike Bar to give a new generation an inside look into this old school game. First, you need to know the basics. Each player gets 4 weighted discs and uses a cue to slide them onto the board. This is called sending the biscuit. The board is divided into sections worth 7, 8, or 10 points, and a space at the back they call the kitchen, which will make you lose 10 points. To score, you gotta land in the middle of a section without touching any lines. Players alternate turns, and the first person to get 75 points wins. Let's kick this off.
All right, let's do
Coin
this.
toss?
I got the coin.
Let's go. I got heads.
Here we go.
Catch it in the hand. Heads.
You want to go first?
No, you go first. Shuffleboard may look simple, but to dominate this game, you need a little skill and a lot of strategy.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Kitchen, kitchen, kitchen. Oh,
Oh.
7. Hope you enjoy it, because you're not going to stay that long.
All right, we'll see.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Oh, I missed that one.
That's how it's done. You fought a good battle. But I'm going to give you some tips that'll put your game over the top. It's game on in Las Vegas, and we're playing shuffleboard. You and an opponent take turns sliding a disc called the biscuit into one of these spaces without touching the lines. Do that, and you build your score. And I just took this guy to school. I'm going to give you some tips that'll put your game over the top. The first tip is your grip. If you're going to be king of the court, it all starts with the right grip. You want to hold the cue as you would a vacuum cleaner.
Okay.
Then, this isn't pool. You don't want to hit the biscuit to send it. You got to push the biscuit.
Okay.
Take a step, and then just push it forward. Let's see you do it.
All right.
Now that you've got the technique down, perfect. It's time for some strategy. The most important shuffleboard strategy is, number 2 is number 1. Remember before when I won the coin flip?
Yeah.
I won, but I didn't go first. I want to go second. I'd rather go second, because then I get to play defense. Instead of going crazy trying to rack up my points, I'm happy with that. I focus on taking points away from my opponent. That's how it's done. Also, by going second, guess what? That means I go last. In this game, that's called playing the hammer. And by playing the hammer, that's when I want to score. And if you're forced to go first, go for the block. Park your first disc in front of the 10 triangle on your opponent's side, like this. That way, you block half the board for your opponent. Then on the next try, aim for your biscuit in front. If you hit it just right, it will move to get you points and leave your second biscuit there to continue to block half the board. Now let's talk scoring. When I try to score, I don't go for the 10 triangle. I go for the 7s and 8s. That leads to my next tip. When you're trying to score, less is always more. Sure, that 10-pointer is tempting, but check it out. That 10 triangle is smaller than the other sections. And remember, if the biscuit is touching any of the lines, you end up with nothing. So instead, aim for the larger sections of 8s and 7s. Another tip, when I find myself in the kitchen and I'm staring at a minus 10 points, guess what? I want to get out of there as fast as I can. You don't want the heat, so get out of the kitchen. Yep, One of your discs in that 10 off spot could mean the difference between a win and a loss. So if it happens, you need to take care of it. Just like you can knock your opponent's discs out of scoring areas, you can also knock your own discs out of trouble. Just like that. You got the tips? Let's put them into action. Let's see how you do.
I'm game. Let's do it.
Let's do it. So remember, use the correct grip and technique. Go second so you can play defense and wield the hammer. And knock your opponent out of the points and yourself out of trouble. With these tips, you'll rule the shuffleboard court.
That's it right there.
Now we're heading to one of the most expensive cities in the world. So I'm sure I could find someone in this town who's interested in scoring a little extra cash. But there's a catch. Literally. You want this $100 bill? You have to catch it, if you can. You guys want to see something interesting?
Yeah, bring it.
You have a bill on you? Any bill. 5? 100? 5 is good. If I hold a bill just like this, and you hold your fingers like that, if I drop it, look how easy it is to catch, right? So go like that. Yeah, look how simple that is. It's real simple. Ready? Oh, that. I'll tell you what. You put up 5.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up 100. If you win, you keep the 100. If I win, I get the 5.
All right.
There's nothing to it. You have your opponent hold their fingers at least 2 inches apart and place a bill in between those fingers about halfway down. If they catch the bill, they keep it. Over your fingers just like that. Ah, so close.
Come on.
Want to go more?
Serious?
Up a little more. How about the other one?
I gotta do this.
Keep your hand up in the middle.
Oh, God.
That was good.
I'm getting close now.
Okay, all right.
I'll catch one more.
He's getting close. I have faith in him.
I gotta stretch it out. All right, here it is. That's what it was. All right.
Like
No.
that?
It's time to buck
No
up.
pressure, no pressure at all.
$100.
That was good. I hear magicians say the hand is quicker than the eye, but what do they know? It's all about the nervous system and the 100 billion nerve cells in your brain. These cells communicate with your body, sending messages about what you see and feel at speeds of up to 268 miles per hour. When you drop and catch a bill yourself, your brain sends the message to drop and catch the bill at the same time. When you try to catch a bill I drop, you have a chance if your fingers are close together, but I don't allow that. Over your fingers just like that. A little more. Ah, so close. You also have a chance to catch it if I warn you before I drop it, which was the case here. Check out what I was doing when I was just demonstrating for this guy. Did you see the way I dipped my hand just before I released it? That gave his brain enough time to react. But when I drop a bill without any warning and you're relying only on sight, the signal sent from your nervous system to your hand is delayed by a tiny fraction of a second. Just enough time to let that 100 slip right through your fingers. Well, guys, it's easy to grab the money when it's on the table. Sunshine State, here we come. Tampa has been the home of the Florida State Fair since 1904. Sure, they have a great midway, but they also have a huge equestrian center. And there's no better place to take on the game of horseshoes. It's a simple game. Stand 40 feet away, throw a 2.5-pound horseshoe at the stake. If it lands within 6 inches from the stake or leans against it for a leaner, you get 1 point. And if your horseshoe goes around the stake, that's a ringer, and you get 3 points. If you really want to figure out how to get a ringer, you got to bring in a ringer. Meet Walter Ray Williams. You may know him as one of the greatest bowlers of all time who has bowled more perfect games than anyone in the history of pro bowling. But my man Walter is also a 6-time world champion horseshoe pitcher and is enshrined in the Horseshoe Pitchers Hall of Fame. Together, we're going to make you a better horseshoe pitcher. Tip 1, it's all in the grip. I notice most people do not hold the horseshoe correctly. Would you demonstrate the proper way to hold the horseshoe?
There's no one way to do it, but for me, I like the fingertip grip, where I got the shoe on the inside with my fingers, and I put my thumb between my first and second finger there. You want to be able to release the shoe precisely the same time every time. And then the fingertip's a lot easier. Your fingers are very nimble. You can let go so easy to get that good release.
So for more control, hold that horseshoe down toward the tips of your fingers. But the grip is only one small piece of the puzzle. Now, it's no surprise that some of Walter's bowling skills translate perfectly to the horseshoe pit, but one key move will get your toss off on the right foot and score you ringers in no time. I know how to win at every game under the sun, and right now it's game on in the Sunshine State. I'm here taking down horseshoes with Walter Ray Williams, a Hall of Famer in both bowling and horseshoes. We've already broken down the proper grip.
For me, I like the fingertip grip, where I got the shoe on the inside with my fingers.
Now it's time to tackle the throw. And if you want to throw right, you've got to start with the step.
You want to wait till the shoe gets all the way in your backswing and then take your step. If you step too soon, you've lost all your momentum. But if your body goes the same time as your shoe, everything's going together. It's kind of like the last step in bowling. You want to get that body going as you're taking that step. Everybody says when they watch me bowl, when they watch me pitch horseshoes, that right here, I look the same.
Really?
So, that underhand arm swing. I mean, getting the timing between your step and the swing.
Excellent. It's all about those ringers. And if you want to get those consistently, then you need to master the art of the spin.
A lot of beginners throw what we call a flip, where the shoe goes end over end. However, there's been no world champions in the men's division throw a flip.
None.
None. So I recommend learning a turning shoe if you're serious about the game. The thumb comes by the leg, and as I pass the leg, I open the hand up that way. And you want to have the shoe nice and flat. If it's not flat, it's hard to beat the ringer. That little bit of motion from here to there is going to get the shoe to spin. And sometimes I get lucky and make a ringer.
Yeah, sometimes. If you're holding the horseshoe correctly, the opening will be toward you. That means that over the distance of the throw, the horseshoe should spin 1.5 times in order to score a ringer. Of course, this is easier said than done. It takes years of practice to get everything working perfectly in unison. Outstanding. But if you remember to get the right grip, step right, and make sure to throw with the proper spin, you might not get as good as Walter Ray. But for the average Joe, it'll be game on at your next backyard barbecue. We're now off to a town about 16 miles west of New York City, Montclair, New Jersey, where I'm about to enjoy my favorite invention. No, not the wheel, not fire either, smart guy. It's not even the light bulb, although that was perfected in New Jersey. I'm talking beer. And where there's beer, there's always a little game to be played with a free pint on the line.
No, it's not. I'm thinking the same thing, John.
I got a game that's so good, it's guaranteed to net you a win. For now, let's just call this the penny game.
Yeah, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I can read your mind.
Okay.
Take this coaster.
Okay.
Take this marker, and do me a favor, write down any number from 1 to 10. Don't let me see it. Show your friends. Take that number and now double it. Add 10. Break that in half. Now subtract the original number you started with. You have a 1-digit number, correct?
Yes.
Does anybody have any pennies? Let me put these onto the table so I'm totally committed, okay?
Okay.
You see that 1 digit you have left? I want you to break it exactly in half. I don't care what it is, break it exactly right in half. Did you do that?
Okay.
I'll bet you a beer that's how many pennies I got here. Would you bet?
I'll bet that, yeah.
I'll bet you a beer.
Okay.
It's game on at the bar where I'm about to pull off a great trick. I had this guy pick a number and then walked him through some seemingly complicated math.
Take that number and now double it.
Okay.
Add 10. Break that in half. Now subtract the original number you started with. You see that 1 digit you have left? I want you to break it exactly in half. I don't care what it is, break it exactly right in half. Did you do that?
Okay.
Once he gets his answer, I bet him that I now have the exact same amount of pennies under my coaster.
I'll bet that, yeah.
I'll bet you a beer.
Okay.
What's your answer?
2.5.
2.5? Well, guess.
That is crazy.
Now, how about that beer?
Now, I'm going to show you how to pull this off on your buddies. It's a game that's really called 2.5 pennies. You start out by having your opponent pick a number. Our guy chose 4. But no matter what number anyone starts with, I can make sure they always end up with 5. Every time. Don't believe me? Let's try 6. Multiply 6 by 2, that equals 12. Add 10, gives you 22. Divide by 2, that equals 11. Subtract the original number 6, and boom, you get 5. Start with a 0, start with a billion, it doesn't matter. The answer will always be 5. But what really makes this game work are the pennies. You have a one-digit number, correct?
Yes.
Does anybody have any pennies? I had a half penny hidden in my hand the whole time. So where did I get a half penny? I made it. I just used a pair of metal slicing scissors and cut one down the middle. So when they hand me a bunch of change, all I do is pick out 2 pennies and simply add those to the half penny. Let me put these onto the table so I'm totally committed, okay? You see that one digit you have left? I want you to break it exactly in half. Did you do that?
Okay.
They're thinking there's no way he has 2.5 pennies. And I'm thinking draft or bottle. And that's exactly what you'll be thinking when it's game on at your local bar. All you need is a half penny and the secret to this game. It'll work every time. Free beers for life.